You know, in the absolute bloodbath of Indian retail, fortunes were always built on one thing: noise.
You've seen it, right? The massive, deafening launches.
The huge, grand promises to completely change how a billion people shop. And the result? Almost always catastrophic, mind-blowing losses. But while all that was happening, in the shadows, a completely different kind of empire was being built by doing the exact opposite. No drama, absolutely no chaos.
You wouldn't see the founder on the cover of magazines. No rock star treatment here.
Just brutal, silent, relentless execution. That company is DMart. And it was built by a man with a superpower that nobody in the flashy startup world ever talks about: patience.
So, to really understand this machine, you first have to understand the man who built it. His name is Radhakishan Damani. But here's the thing. He wasn't your typical startup guy. He came from a world of calculated risks and cold, hard numbers. He was a legendary stock market investor.
And right there, that's the secret. DMart wasn't born from the chaos of retail. It was forged in the discipline of the stock market, an investor's mindset. It's a way of thinking that hunts for patterns, not for flashy headlines. It values patience over pure speed. And above all, it's obsessed with protecting the downside, because in the long run, cash is king, not just a good story.
So what was it? What was the secret weapon? What was the one big move that allowed this quiet company to take down giants? Well, it's a strategy so simple, it's almost deceptive. Most people completely miss it.
If you ask anyone on the street, they'll tell you, oh, DMart won because it's cheap. But that's not the reason. That's the result. The real weapon here isn't the low price tag you see on the shelf. It's the silent, unstoppable machine that creates that low price.
And here it is. This is the engine of the entire empire. EDLC EDLP. Everyday low cost, which leads to everyday low price. You see, this isn't about having a flashy sale or some discount festival. No, this is a permanent, brutal, structural advantage that is hardwired into the very DNA of the business.
So how does this machine actually work? It's a really simple four-step loop. First, they use their scale to buy goods at the absolute lowest prices possible. Second, they run their operations with an obsessive, almost painful level of efficiency. Third, and this is the masterstroke, they pass every single rupee they save directly back to you, the customer. And fourth, that relentless, predictable value builds a kind of loyalty that no marketing budget could ever buy.
And just look at this mix. This isn't random at all. Over half their sales, 57%, come from food. Now, why is that? It's because you need to buy dal and rice every week, right? That's what gets you in the door. And then once you're inside, you pick up the higher margin stuff like clothes and home goods. It's a simple, brilliant trap for your wallet. But this right here, this is the move that checkmated the entire industry. While every other retailer was bleeding cash on rent, DMart did the unthinkable. They bought their own stores. Just think about that. For a retailer, rent is like a cancer. It only ever goes up, eating into your profits. By owning their land, DMart killed their single biggest cost, forever.
So, okay, the strategy sounds good on paper, but did it actually work? Well, the numbers don't lie.
Let's go back to fiscal year 2012. DMart had just 55 stores. I mean, that's a respectable number, but it's nothing world-changing.
But that silent, relentless expansion kept going. By March 2025, that number is projected to explode to 415 stores. That's not just growth. That's a hostile takeover of Indian retail, one neighborhood at a time. And what does that kind of expansion do to your revenue? In fiscal year 2020, they were already pulling in an impressive figure, just under 25,000 crore rupees. But just 5 years later, that number more than doubles to nearly 58,000 crore rupees. This is what happens when a silent machine finally hits escape velocity. Now, take a look at these margins. You might think, those are pretty tiny. And you'd be right. That's exactly the point. See, DMart isn't trying to make a huge profit on one single item. They're making a tiny profit on millions of items every single day. That is the secret to building an empire. Not high prices, high volume.
So, after all of this, what's the ultimate lesson? What's the masterclass we can all learn from this incredible story? Here it is. This is the DMart Playbook. Rule 1. Systems always win, not just temporary discounts. Rule 2. Build a real cost advantage before you even think about building a huge marketing team. Rule 3. Expand like an army, in dense clusters where you can dominate, not just to put your flag on a map for ego. Rule 4. Protect your profit on every single sale from day one. And the final, most important rule of all, stay quiet. The noise is just a distraction.
You know, Radhakishan Damani didn't build this empire by chasing the spotlight. He built it by mastering the fundamentals of business better than anyone else. And in a world that is completely obsessed with noise, he proved the most powerful truth of all. Sometimes the quietest strategy creates the absolute